This video is gonna be short, but this is for people who has an info product, who is looking for a podcast to hop on because they think there's a benefit out of it. I'm gonna make sure that in this video, you're gonna be understanding how a podcast can be positioned as a body of assets, positioning assets, evergreen that you can use to make sure that people are aware of your offer, of your brand, and of the journey that you're currently trajectorying right now. I want to share one story of one of my clients when we were trying to scale his info offer from 100K per month to 500K per month. And this is a bit of a social proof, but when you're going from a state of a service provider, then turning yourself into an industry leader that people look up to, regardless of what results or what background of what offer that you're offering them, they still see you and they pedestalize you. And a podcast is very important in order for you to implicate that specific image for yourself, for your clients, or for any other people in the space. And I myself, I'm now implementing that. No matter what stage you are in your offer, whether you're starting out, whether you're 3 months in, 9 months in, 12 months in, it is very applicable to you because it is a body of knowledge which is evergreen and it documents your journey, whether what stage you're currently at. So for example, for me, I'm launching my offer and refining it more and more, and I'm gonna be using this podcast first to generate exposure to my offer, increase rapport to my current audience, and then 3, develop it as a positioning evergreen assets that I can clip forever and ever for eternity with unlimited social proof and authority. First, let's discuss the caveats. Not all podcasts are created equal. And you have to understand that a podcast, what is a podcast? A podcast is just 2 people, 2 or 3 or more people communicating. And it's all a person, it's all people. People have very distinct communication types. One is a listener, one is an interviewer, one might be an interrogator, one might be I would call it a socialist, but that might not be the right term, but we could say that it's more of a conversationalist, right? So we need to peel back the layers of what makes them distinct and what makes them really who they are and what matches in the stage that we're currently at. Because, for example, if you're switching from the service provider to an industry leader, you have something to prove first because not a lot of people know you. So you cannot convince people of your values. You cannot be a Tony Robbins where you generate motivational reels for them. What you need to understand first is you generate value, something people can learn from. And you can see I'm coughing a lot because I'm pretty much a bit sick, but that doesn't hold me back from generating value to people. So what are the benefits of a podcast? The benefits of a podcast is something that I've already told you. But one thing to also note about is that this also positions you as a high authority, pedestalized version of yourself. Because think about it. If someone is interviewing someone, what does that someone have that makes him worth interviewing? And that in of itself is a social proof and a credibility so high that people would be curious about who you are. That's when you plug in your values and your value. What are the type of podcasts? The podcast types vary differently depending on the host. The host, depending on his communication type, has different effects. For example, if someone is a conversationalist, that means the trajectory of the podcast will be just you and him back and forth on random topics which might not be valuable for you, might be valuable for authenticity's sake, but I don't personally believe that. I think that authenticity has been overused by people trying to escape from actually generating value to people and telling them that you just need to be you. But you have to understand that there are levels of bodies of characteristics that you have that people can relate to. And some of the things that you might be saying right now, depending on the ICP that you're targeting, will not be related to any single one of them. So authenticity goes out the window. You can use authenticity in a form of alignment with yourself and the natural order of things in which you target yourself, and in a way adjustment to brand improvement. One is a conversationalist. That means it's going to be just back and forth for you. The other one is more of an interviewer. They're more of a question and then pause, stop, and just listen. They're more of an interviewer. They throw you a bunch of questions and they let you go through the process of answering that question as detailed as possible so that they can actually have a painting in their brain that they can project for themselves and for the audience so that it's as clear as day. And the thing about this is that you're only on the operational side. You're the one that is going to be laying out all the foundation. He's just the listener. The host is just going to be the listener that will be in a position of the same audience that you want to attract. For example, the ICP that you want to attract, that must be the host. Third type. This one is the most powerful type. And this one is the one that we use for the last client that I've worked with in order for us to jump from service provider to industry leader. And that is a conversationalist type, but positions as the ICP that you target. And most importantly, as detailed as well, and more of an expert to your exact field of knowledge. For example, you are a coach that teaches people how to use ads. For example, that's your main marketing lever. That's your main branding trademark. You help people scale with ads. The main podcast that has the host must have a knowledge on the ads manager, on tracking ads, scaling ads, setting up ads, and experience of helping people generating that results on their ad and their ads that you can relate to. So the host can actually relate to what you were saying. That means that you don't have to tone down your level of expertise depending on the broad audience that are listening. Because lots of podcasts, they have broad audiences listening, and there is no one specific type of avatar. So in order for you to make up for that, you make sure that the host is also knowledgeable about the things that you're saying so that you can actually have a more in-depth conversation about the topic that you're conversing about. The third one is the most powerful one in your specific situation because you're not targeting a lot of people. You want to provide more value and not values. You want to provide more value to people that would be helpful for them so that they increase the likelihood of conversion, stepping into your door and making sure that you trap them into your world or your ecosystem for them to not have a choice apart from buying, right? The third one is more of a conversationalist type, but more of an expert in the specific field that you have. The questions you throw at each other should be structured in a way where it prompts both of you to create a ping pong interaction with each other. There are no certain type of flags to avoid when you're just trying to make this as a point of leverage. But if you're structuring this podcast as a leverage point in order for people to come into your door and get them closer into a point of conversion, the main thing to flag about is generating lots of values-based questions. What is the difference between value and values? Value is specific, attainable, and tactical ways in order for others to implement in order for them to get benefit from. Values are characteristics, experiences, learning lessons from you that they can make sure that you are actually an authentic person and that they want to make a payment of you. This one is highly ideal, but in your path right now that you want to be an industry leader, you want to show more of your expertise so that people don't just come to you and make assumptions that you're just here because of your brand. No, you want to make sure that you are a scientist. You are a deep expert and you're a book of encyclopedia that people can extrapolate knowledge off of. So you want to get shown of the level of expertise that you have. Value is very important when you're showing who you are and what you can offer to people. Values is something that people could just turn as motivational reels, just like Tony Robbins. When they're not able to track eventually what they really want to have in their positioning assets, in their branding, in their differentiation. When does values make sense? Values with an S. It makes sense when the brand is big enough that the only reason for people to pay is because you have the insane credibility and point of leverage in your testimonial tabs and in your credibility driven assets that people kind of get away with that fact that because they all know that you generate results. Done. It's given. It's just like second nature. When they think of your name, this man delivers. But the values is what gets them closer to actually paying you. For example, if you love sports or if you love to fight, right? Not fighting, professional fighting. If you love MMA, I have encountered clients who got paid in fulls in the DMs because their clients or their prospects seen that they're inside a ring. Why is that? Because people respect people that are respectable enough to go into the inside the octagon, because not a lot of men, not a lot of people have the audacity and confidence level to train as hard as possible every single day and dedicate themselves into a craft of fighting an individual for their purpose and discipline. So that creates authority, pedestalization, and respect from other people. That respect alone can make someone pay you from 5K to 10K to 20K just because they love the brand. They already know that you're generating results. You have branding assets. You have credibility driven assets. You have informative driven assets. But that one last push for them to pay you is values. You can DM me whenever you want to hop on a podcast, because I have people in my network to have podcasts delivered with you. And I can connect you with them, give you insights on how to actually do the podcast the right way, and make sure that you create it the right way in order for them to be in front of your door asking for your payment link. And I'm very happy in order for me to like be able to do all of this. As you can see, I'm coughing a lot. I have a mild cough, but thankfully enough, it's not in a point where I I am disabled to speak, and it's a little bit of sickness. I'm actually been nervous for like the past couple of days because like I'm gonna be meeting a client right now, but you have cough. You don't want to embarrass yourself and like coughing a lot and you make them sick as well, or maybe just me being able to speak clearly will not be a possibility because I have a mild cough. But thankfully, I was able to still iterate or articulate what my mind says, and hopefully, I can still help them while having this condition right now. So yeah, I think it's well done. And if you need more help in your podcast, contact me. And yeah, and if you need more help in your podcast, contact me. I will definitely connect with the right people and provide you with good implementations in order for you to implement, and then make sure that you are in the right spot in order for you to leverage that and create more efficiency in that podcast, because you don't want to create more inefficiencies when you're just in way of scaling your offer up to 6 figures. And that's what I have people a lot, optimizing the things and making sure everything is in the right angle so that you can show it to people and it generating the right results. I am very enjoying this video. I don't want to end it so soon because yeah. But I just want to say that whenever you are at your journey, you have to take risk and you have to sacrifice a lot. I don't want to know if I could say this, but like I just want to maybe pay respect for one of my friends. He passed away this day, and this is the exact day that I left my hometown to meet one of my clients, and it breaks my heart because he's my friend, and I'm gonna rush back soon, as much as possible, as soon as possible, because it's just so sudden. I heard the news when I was traveling here, and then he 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 passed away. What could I do right now? I thought to myself, what could I do right now in order for me to honor him more and not waste my time and not be a and not make this a waste of energy and effort to me, and make sure that me going here instead of immediately going to him is gonna make him more proud. And I think he's 100 times gonna be more proud because I did this, and I did it the right way. I have to do my obligations and discipline myself first, because life happens, but you run an actual business. So it's great. It's great to see myself like articulating this well, besides my cough, and being able to still operate from a point of neutrality despite lots of things happening. But I would like to say that the biggest why of me doing this is honoring my people, honoring my friends, and generating a better life for them, and make sure that not bad, not a lot of bad things will happen anymore. Yeah,